I'm surprised I didn't do a transfer speech going, hello everyone, I'd like to welcome you into the lovely Kinth class. As we make our way down into Lagan, it'll take around 30 minutes. I just want to let you all know my dad killed himself. So I don't know how I didn't do that. I was like, life's a beach!
Oh, yeah.
Life's a beach!
Jay's car was just absolutely battered. The bumper was off. The fucking grass that she'd gone off-roading was literally stuck all around the wheels. Like it
Bad day at the office.
She ripped the fucking car off.
He was the funniest person to enter the room. So he could entrap an audience within 3 minutes of the room. He'd have the whole pub. And he was so generous. I was like, Mum, Dad's dead. And she just was like, I know. And the scream she let out, I won't forget. And
Did you just have that intuition that he was gone and that is what he's done? He's committed suicide.
And the people that come and take, they're in suits. And he's like, don't worry, I used to live farm cattle. I was like, oh, you'll be all right then, mate.
Oh, my... No.
My mother sold father's Bentley. But he'd obviously clearly had it in his head then what he was going to do that night.
God.
Scene.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure every single rapper's licky dipped in the past.
Yeah.
Oh, licky dipped or licky partayed. You look fine, Hannah.
Go. Hello and welcome to Becoming Lucy with me, Hannah.
And me, Lucy. Today's episode is about grief, but not just grief. It's about suicide. It's about losing a parent in a way that shatters your sense of safety and understanding of the world.
It's also about the versions of ourselves we create to survive, the masks we wear, sometimes without even realising we're wearing them.
Because today's guest is someone many people know as funny, wild, full of energy, the life of the party, and the rep that made every night and many days unforgettable. And we did have a ball, and we will definitely go into some of our memories. But like I say, alongside that laughter, there was a pain being hidden in plain sight.
Yeah, Jay lost her dad to suicide after watching him desperately try and get help for severe depression. And after that loss, life didn't slow down or soften, it piled on.
And what followed was survival dressed up as fun, drinking, escaping, disappearing into the noise, and not because she didn't care, but because she was hurting.
And grief doesn't look quiet or tidy. It's about healing, doesn't always start with therapy. Sometimes it just starts with being seen.
And what you'll learn today is Jay is very quick-witted, hilarious, deeply human, and today she's going to share the full picture and not just the party version there as well. But again, just a gentle note before we begin, as we've mentioned, this episode does discuss suicide and grief, so please take care while listening and pause if you need to.
Yes. So let's just set the scene first of all about how we know each other. And we all met overseas, working, living and figuring life out. I mean, I don't know how much figuring we did. But yes, we all came together in Zante in 2016. And obviously we all
Lived in Tui Towers, and if those walls could speak, honestly, there'd be lots and lots of experiences and memories that we would not want to share.
Nor my mother would want to hear.
So, Jay, set the scene, talk about Zante and how we all met and what we just did in that amazing season.
I can't explain. It's like it's like I'd never seen a nightclub before. I was like a kid let loose in a candy store, but we all used to go out. We were holiday reps and living in Laguna. So that Laguna strip, as you can imagine. So I treated that like my all-inclusive hotel the whole time I was there, by every bar. So I was, so you had all your bars, and they used to give us free drinks for doing their trips and things like that. So it's safe to say I made a bit of a name for myself. I also won the award for the most out rep. Basically, that was for being pissed all of the time.
I have got
you
some
definitely-
cracking photos of Jay
Oh.
and even videos. I even found the video the other day when we had the grasshopper, you know, in your room, and you literally got a
Oh.
broken leg with a crutch, Scott's on the bed, and she's smashing up the room just because of this one little grasshopper, which no one sees. The whole
Put it
time.
in your room then, Lucy. Yeah, you found it.
I've got to say as well, Jay, like, that was you to a T. You'd be like that, and then you'd come crashing down, then you'd go back up again. When you were up, it was like Lou said, like the most amazing energy to be around. And I think the three of us as well, we obviously have very similar energies. And actually in 2016, I was actually there as manager, same as Rob. So obviously Rob, my
Yeah.
fiance, and he has got something to ask you, Jay, because he was your manager, wasn't he, in 2016?
He was, yeah.
Obviously I was saying, oh, we got Jay on and this, that and the other, and he was like, oh, fantastic. And he went, actually, you can ask her a question. I was like, okay, say to her, am I still the best manager that she had, or was she just giving me bullshit that whole season?
No, he still is. He still is. He
Oh.
genuinely was. And I said that to him. I'll tell you a story for you. I'll never forget. Me and him had been out and we were all smashed. And I don't drink gin, but he somehow got me on gin juices. And I absolutely clattered in Maggie Mays. And he was like, come on, I need to go back to Hannah. I was like, what time is it? He was like, 6 a.m. I was like, life's a beach.
Oh, yeah.
Life's a beach. And we started walking there and he sort of fell into a bag of like loads of like black bin bags. And I was like, Rob, get up. And he's like, he's just laying bin bags. I swear to God, I'll never forget this. I went, I think I just want Hannah. I was like, I'm on my own then. And I just left him. So he made his way back to you, but I woke up in Life's a Beach on a bin bag, and Nicole took loads of photos of me, and that's a true story. And then I stayed there. I stayed there the next day and got a tattoo on my leg.
Oh, amazing. That is what overseas life does. And Life's a Beach, like Life's a Beach is just the bar of all bars. It is on the beach. And
It's not there anymore, though, is it?
Oh, don't.
Let's not talk about that. Let's go back to when it was there. And it was just the most open bar, and all the reps would just go there, and we would just spunk our wages on juicies, which is vodka, squash and water. And I still love a juicy to this day. I'm not ashamed to say it. And we would just sit there all day, laughing, drinking, bantering, taking the piss out of each other, occasionally having a dip in the sea, coming back again, and we'd be there for hours.
Amazing.
And we were talking about, you were saying like, with all the bars and this, that and the other, our job was actually really hard as well. So we did work. I mean, Jay, I'm going to question mark your work, but we did
Hannah
work.
always brings in these disclaimers, like, we did do this, we did do that. I mean, Jay's saying was tuna balloon, tuna balloon. Should we just go for tuna balloon? Tuna balloon. Like, balloons are really frowned on, by the way, now, aren't they? But they weren't.
They were great. I want to
It's
uphold
like
my
a fag.
reputation. Thank you very much for being an overseas manager. But yeah, no, it was hard work, but the best fun, wasn't it? And obviously that was the dynamic and the bond that you create with your overseas pals just lives on forever. Like, look at it now. You're now on the pod, like doing the episode with us. Obviously, me and Lucy do the pod together. It's just something else, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you have
We've always
like
kept contact as well, haven't we? Like, I've been to your engagement do as well, Jay.
Yeah.
That's pre-COVID and stuff like that. And
Still
like
got the
you
ball
say-
and chain here. Say hello,
Hi, Kirsty.
hello. Shout hello.
Hey.
She's like, don't get me on the screen. I'm not putting my makeup on. I was like, all right, just hover in the background somewhere then.
Before we move on from how we met then, Jay, have you got a lasting memory from that season in Zante?
It would always be the Rob one, to be honest. That was
What
it
about
was one of my favourite.
2015? Because obviously we did that season before, and when I was into it, well, we were all into. That's when me and you were into each other, wasn't it?
Yeah, this is a really embarrassing one. I'll never forget. I was stood in BJ's, which is not. What you thinking?
The best milkshakes ever.
Burger joint. And I said to Penny, I was like, I really need a piss, Penny. I really need a piss, Penny. And I was going on, and she was like, if you needed that fucking bad, you'd piss yourself. And I was like, you're on. And So I pissed myself while we were
Oh
stood
my
there.
God.
And I'll never forget walking back. It was all Matt's fault. Remember Matt Henderson?
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, it's your fault. You didn't take me to the toilet. It's your fault. Everything was his fault that season with me. I don't know why. And then I was like, I remember walking back. I was like, I need another wee. And Penny was like, yeah, I've done it once. So I just remember walking up the drive, wetting myself.
So like not only watched it twice, and that drive's big. If you go to Tui Towers, that drive is big, gravelly and long.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Unless you built like a Land Rover as well, it's hard to get
Potholes,
down.
yeah.
Honestly. I don't know how none of us actually broke
Yeah,
all of
that's
our
true.
legs. It was like off-road terrain, but we all
You could have
scrambled.
sold an excursion just on the driveway. Off-road Jeep.
18 juicies deep. I could take on Bear Grylls the Wild. I could.
Well, talking about a Land Rover to get through there, one of my favourite memories of 2015 is obviously me and Scott were dual repping, and we had to get up earlier than everybody else. And we were coming out of Tui Towers, and literally as we come out and turned where all the cars were parked, and bear in mind we all had the same make of car but all a different colour, and Jay's car was just absolutely battered. The bumper was off. The fucking grass that she'd gone off-roading was literally stuck all around the wheels. Like it
Bad day at the office.
She ripped the fucking car off. I mean, Scott was like, oh, you got Scott with his Scottish, what the fucking hell's going on? Like,
barging in my room. I had no recollection.
Nadine comes running out. Literally, it's like she didn't see us. She just came running, hands on head, like, no, it's not a dream. It's not a dream. Didn't even look at us and just ran back into her room. Yeah, her and Jay have ripped off the car.
Do you remember how you did that?
Yeah, well, this is a really good story. So I woke up and Scott come in the room. He goes, "Wee Baz." He used to call me Wee Balls. So he's like, "Wee Baz," and I was like, "What do you want?" And I had like a lump and I was like, "What do you want?" And he was like, "What you done to your car, you black?" And I was like, "What you on about? What you on about?" And I was like, "Where are my crutches?"
Oh God, she got a fucking broken leg. I forgot that.
Yeah, I had a broken leg. I was like, "Where are my crutches? Where are my crutches?" And so I hobbled on my plaster, and I was like, "Oh, why is there half a car?" And I was like, "Nadine, what have we done?" Anyway, so what happened was Nadine had some, cursed, I'm sorry, leather guests. And that's how she enticed me out. And she was like, "Got some lesbian guests, you coming out?" And I was like, it's like dangling candy in front of a baby. And it was like, I was like, "I'm on my way." And
I'm
she was
on
like,
my way, Sam. Delightful.
So she was like, "We'll take the car, we'll park it, we'll leave it, won't have too many, and I'll drive it back. If not, I'll bring it back in the morning." I was like, "I ain't driving it in the minute anyway. I've got a broken leg, you fool." Yeah, cool. Drove it down, parked it, and that's the last thing I remember, really. And then I woke up, and so when I was in my investigation, when you sat like that, they were like, "So, do you remember anything?" And I was like, "I'm going to point blank tell you now, Tracy. No, I don't remember anything." She said, "You must remember something." I was like, "Oh yeah, I remember being there. I remember being pissed, but I don't remember going back. I have no idea." And she's like, "And where's your crutches?" So I was like, "Oh, so subject." I was like, I have no idea. And she's like, "Well, I suggest you go and buy some more." And I was like, "Oh, you cow bag." And then I thought, because you said that, I refuse to buy more. I will hobble on a cast, watch me. And I don't know who I thought I was. Well, now I know that I was just a twat at the time. So I was like hobbling around on a cast, and I was grounded. They told me I wasn't allowed out. That made me want to go out even more. So I was like, so I've stayed in for one night, and then
That's a lot as a rep, though, isn't it? It's a lot. It's one night staying in. You're like,
FOMO.
"Ooh, yeah," you get like itchy.
Yeah, so then I went out the next night, went into BJ's. They were like, "Oh, you left something here." And I thought he was going to hand me my fags, but he handed me my crutches. I was like,
Okay, and just to say, we don't condone drink driving in any country, just to put it out
No.
there, guys.
It's over 10 years ago now. She can't get
"Sorry,
sacked.
Mom."
Oh, no, amazing. I think we've definitely set the scene with obviously how we know each other, and obviously you guys did your season before, and yeah, just what a life we had back then. It was so good. But obviously we do want to get into our episode today, and yes, like we've mentioned, we are going to obviously take it from there to there, but we want to make sure we talk about your dad.
And yeah, we'll do that obviously with a lot of care. And like you said, before everything happened with your dad, Jay, he'd been going to doctors. He was seeking help with severe depression.
Yeah, it was quite clear that he wasn't right. I didn't see the man cry at his own mum and dad's funeral, but he started crying loudly, and like wouldn't let you in the room. My mum was like, "You can't go in the room. You can't go in the room. Your dad's crying." I was like, "I've never seen him cry," and it was sort of going on for like a few days, and I was like, "Something's not right." And then one day I went into the living room and he was really calm, drinking gin and tonic like he did every night, and I was stood by the fireplace because they had an open fire. And he just kept going, "Look after Henry." And I was like, "That's the dog." I didn't even say look after anything. I was like, "Look after Henry. Don't forget to look after Henry." And I was like, "All right, stop talking stupid." And that's the last thing I ever said to him.
Oh, really?
So
Yeah.
let's go right back then, because that's a really impactful sort of statement that you've just said then. And in my head, I was just imagining that conversation happening. So let's take it back to when you were a child then. What was your relationship like with your dad? Who was he? How was he? And what led him to have that conversation, do you think?
He was the funniest person in a room. So if you walked into a room, but he had his bad side. I'm never ever gonna take away that. And I can't, that's probably one thing I can't delve too much in for my mum's sake. He had a dark side to him where he had a short temper, but so did his dad. I know you shouldn't say this, and my mum will probably frown at this, but I absolutely hated my granddad. He was evil. But I did. And that was my dad's dad. So my dad had a bit of a bad temper following that, but he was on the good side of him. He was the funniest person to enter the room. So he could entrap an audience within 3 minutes of the room. He'd have the whole pub. And he was so generous. If someone walked in the pub, he'd be the first to welcome them in, buy them a pint. He was a nice guy. He just had his dark side. I mean, we were really close growing up. He was strict with me. I was a bit naughty at school, but I wasn't naughty as in, I don't know, like behavioural naughty. I was
like the class clown kind of thing.
disruptive naughty. And when he found out, he gave me the chance. And I didn't want to go to private school. I was like, no. Sent me to state school. As soon as he found out that I'd been on report for 2 years and they'd never seen it. I'd mastered my mum's signature. They sent me away to private school.
I never knew that. Private school, wow.
Yeah, I went away to private school, but that did change me a lot from being a little shit to a slightly lesser of a shit.
Was it an all-girls school, by the way?
Absolutely.
Sorry.
And that's where it began. It was, yeah. And I went there, and off the back of that, I went to India for 6 weeks, and with the school doing a world challenge and things like that. So it really did help me as a person grow. And then through that, when I had like jobs at office work, and my dad bought me my first car. Then he bought me for my 21st, he bought me a BMW Z3. So he was always spoiling me and throwing money. But that was his problem. He was throwing money around, and he was invested in things. So if you went to the local pub in our little village called the Crown, it was like they were all trying to have a show-off party. They were like, "Oh, well, I've just bought a house in Tenerife." My dad was like, "Well, I must buy one in Tenerife." It was like, fuck's sake. So I remember my mum and dad went to Spain for 5 days and left this woman called Jane in charge. Little did they know that she was a bigger pisshead than me. And Mum, I'm sorry, but did we have a house party? Looking for houses abroad. And then I remember I went to America. We were looking for houses there. But my dad always had to try and go one bigger and one better. And he invested his money into a place called Exuma in the Bahamas. And he built 2 villas on a lake full of turtles. So really imaginative, called them Turtle Lake Villas.
That sounds lovely, to be fair. You know, the idea sounds amazing.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
The island was sold to him. It didn't have a hospital. They were like, "Oh, but it's up and coming. They're looking at building a medical centre." The Yanks love it. As they said, sorry, the Americans, but that's how they used to say it out there. And it was sold to him like it was an investment plan, the dream. So he invested all his money into these houses. And then all the dark side of it came out, like, "Oh, now you need to pay Winky, this random Bohemian man, £1 million to live in your house." And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah, £1 million to live in your house." And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah, £1 million to live in your house." And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah, £1 million to live in your house." And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah, £1 million to live in your house." And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah, £1 million to live in your house." And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah, £1 million to live in your house." And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah, £1 million to live in your house." And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah, £1 million to live in your house." And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah, £1 million to live in your house." And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah, £1 million to live in your house." And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah, £1 million to live in your house." And I was like $500 a month to make sure no one burgles your houses. And my dad was like, what? And then he made a friend called Carter, because my dad would go, we went to the Bahamas for 3 weeks whilst it was starting. And then my mum and dad used to fly out quite regularly. And they made a friend called Carter, and he was like, oh, Bob, I need you to send me $10,000 for X, Y, Z. And then Carter disappeared. And then that was just the start of the downfall of the Bahamas, really. And then they were having like hurricanes. The roof blew off. We had to rebuild the roof. The insurance doesn't do for act the gods. So it was all like going down, 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 down. And then he invested into a hotel in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And I remember watching the DVD. It even had Pat, I don't know if you remember Pat Cash, the tennis player. He was promoting it. He was like a Wimbledon winner. And I remember watching it, and my dad was like, we should invest in this. So what you do is you buy like hotel rooms, and when somebody rents them, you get $100 per night per room. The hotel gets the rest.
Right.
And it was a scam. The person went to jail for it. So my dad invested like £60,000 into that.
Wow.
Turned out to be a scam. It wasn't a real thing. The bloke went to jail, but my dad never knew he went to jail. He'd passed away by that point. And then the Bahamas, he'd ploughed £500,000 into it and found out they were worth nothing, but they were worth a measly 125 grand what he'd done. So
do you think he had some kind of like addiction then to investing into businesses? And even though things had gone wrong and the Bahamas had let him down, and then he's done a zero investment, and he's still ploughing this money into him. Why do you think he kept going? What was
sorry,
making him
my
not stop?
cat. So sorry. I'm really sorry.
It's the way you scream, my cat. That's why he doesn't say my pussy.
Oh no, if you want me to, but no.
So why do you not think he's stopped? Why didn't he stop investing money when he was having these sort of disastrous return of investments?
I don't know. When I was little, when I was 5 years old, he had a company called Pegasus with a friend, and it was worth loads. And they were told, I don't really know the ins and outs of this bit. I just remember he trusted his friend and signed a document to his friend, and he didn't realise the document signed the whole company over to him. And so my dad lost a business. And this is why I love my mum. My mum tells me the story. He rang me when, Ange, I've literally lost everything. She went, oh, do you want a bacon sandwich for tea? That's my mum. Like, she would love it. So then I remember we had to sell the Mercedes, and he had a Campbell's soup tin with a wad of cash in it, and we lived off that for a bit. And the way my dad rebuilt the business, he was so clever. It was ridiculous. He had like these, what are they called now? These books that come out that used to, the publisher, and it used to come out, and you'd have like adverts in it for like video games and things like that. So my dad went to one book company and was like, oh, have you got a list of your video games you're selling? And he made up a name, and he was like, as I'm making up now, he called it Impulse, because he was making up the business like on his head. So he called it Impulse Limited. And then he sent that list of the games, added £1 onto each game, and there was thousands of them, sent them to someone else, and they were like, yeah, I'll have them.
Wow.
So when the money transacted into his, he released the game, sent it to theirs, got the games, organised the shipping. He was like, that was really easy. And then he did mass distribution for years and built a big business, had like part of a warehouse, and that's how he made his money.
So he turned it on his head then. He kind of actually did make an amazing business out of that. So he learned along the way, which is obviously fantastic.
Yeah. And then, but what the downfall of that was, the reason he started investing in property is things like, and I'll use it so I can't move, things like Netflix came out and things like that. So nobody was using DVDs, nobody was using PlayStation discs. And that's what he was selling. Everyone was doing downloads. So the business started dwindling. So that's why he started investing into property.
Right.
So.
And then go back to obviously where we were before you obviously had that last conversation with your dad. I mean, how old are you now? Tell us more.
I'm 21 now, Luce.
But like at the time when you had that last conversation with your dad, and we'll obviously go back, I mean, like I say, to talk about the night. I mean, you found your dad, didn't you? Yeah,
so basically when I was 16, my dad built me, I sound like a right snotty-nosed cow, and I'm not. You'd never know any of this. But he built me a little, he used to call it the little house. It was like a mini version of my mum and dad's house at the end of the drive. And so I was in there one night, and I was chilling with Henry on the bed after I'd said goodnight to him, and I was late on the settee watching telly, and it was about 3 a.m. And all of a sudden, my door started going, like, hammering. I was like, oh, what's that? And sorry, Mum, I used to have a cheeky spliff at that time. So I was like,
If you're not watching and you're listening, Jay is frantically moving her arms to replicate her moving the spliff smoke out of the way before her mum came into the room.
yeah, because she's innocent, she wouldn't know what the smell was. So I opened the door and I was like, yeah, Mum, like that. And she was like, yeah, your dad's really drunk. I can't get him up. And I was like, oh, okay. And I just expected that he'd been drunk loads, like drunk beyond belief. And it used to get pissed every night, like as a general, like down the pub. But he was getting hammered every night, so it was just a norm. So I was like, oh, okay. Shut the door. I was like, back in a minute, Henry. Shut the door. Legged it down, and then went into the living room. And that's where I looked at him, and he was like, oh, I'm not even going to do an impression of my dead dad then.
Oh,
he had like fuck. Got any white? Got any white powder? No, I'm only joking. He had like I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine.
It's your story. You relive it how you want to. Honestly, you relive it how you want to.
Yeah,
he was really pale and he had like powder coming out of his mouth. And I remember looking and I was like, Mum, Dad's dead. And she just was like, I know. And the scream she let out, I won't forget. And I was just, you know, when you're just like, I knew this was going to happen, but I didn't, because he was the first person, I did mention it to you, Lou, the first person that would say suicide is the most selfish thing you can do. He always used to say it. If it happened in a film, he'd be like, selfish bastard.
Yeah.
Like that. So when I was like, I always I knew he was depressed, but a part of me was like, he's going to do it. Is he going to do it? He'd never do it because he was a man's man. And, you know, but no, he did it. So, and I just...
So that moment then, obviously you've come out of your sort of granny flat, as they call it. You've gone up with your mum. Did you just take one look and knew? Did you go over and check his pulse? Like, did you do anything like that? Or did you just have that intuition that he was gone and that's what he's done? He's committed suicide?
He was obviously gone, but I grabbed him by his jumper and shook him. And when I shook him, his head just went back and forth, and more powder came out.
Oh, God.
So I was like, he's gone. And then I ran into the office because he had an extension, he had an office built. I went into the office and before I called anyone, I called my best friends, like before an ambulance. I called DH, Michael Thomas, because I know his number off by heart. So I was like, boom. And he was at his boyfriend's at the time, Richard. He was a very close friend of ours. Rest in peace, Richard. He's died of a brain tumour since. He was in bed with Richard and I called and he answered. And I was like, my dad's just committed suicide. It was like, what? And then I sort of hung up on him, which was probably not the best thing. Probably should have ended it on love you, bye. But I didn't. I sort of and just hung up on him. And then I called the ambulance and she was like, is the patient breathing? And it took all of me not to go, no, you stupid bit.
Yeah.
But I thought, I was like, no, he's quite clearly dead. She's like, can you lay him on his side? I was like, you know, you tried moving a racehorse. But I was like, I'll have a go. So I remember going in with trying to lift him on his side. I was like, no, I can't get him on his side. And she was like a bit like, give her the address and all things like that as I was doing it. I was like, look, just send someone ASAP, he's dead. And she was like, okay, so what I need to do is compressions. And she was winding me up, this girl was. And I was like, when I say he's dead, and then it got to the point, I chucked the house phone up against the wall. Just went, boom, smashed the house phone off the wall because I was like, you're not listening. And then Mum was like, what'd you do that for? I was like, probably hasn't solved anything, has it? And then I was waiting for the ambulance and I just remember I sort of gone out with the office. It had French doors that went outside, so like a patio area. And I was just sort of stood there and it was just like about 3:45 in the morning, it's twilight. And all of a sudden I saw blue lights go flying past. Like no noise, because obviously the time of night, but blue lights. And I just remember running round, opening the garden gate and screaming, he's dead in here. Down the middle of the road, and I had to entice, because we lived in a village, so it wasn't the easiest place to find addresses. So like enticing the ambulance back, and I remember I got to the front door, and because I'd gone out the patio door, it was deadlocked, the front door, so I was banging. I was like, Mum, open the door. And because she was in a state, I just remember she couldn't open the door. Oh, it was just, you know, and I'm like, open the door. And now I wish I was a bit calm with her. I was like, the ambulance people here, open the fucking door. And then
I was just going to say, please don't put that pressure on yourself to like regret how you reacted, because that must be the most traumatic thing that someone can go through. And then also seeing your mum, who, like you said, couldn't even do the basics of things because she was highly, obviously, in an emotional turmoil as well. You know what I mean? So I just wanted you to be kind to yourself, and I don't want you to sort of think, I wish I was calmer, you know, because God, what a horrible situation you've gone through.
Yeah, I think you blanked most of that out anyway with trauma. Like, obviously you remember it, but I think your mum probably doesn't even remember that. Do you know what I mean? The essence that she'd be so like.
Yeah. I mean, and then when she opened the door, they went in with their machines. They took one look at him, and I just remember they sort of just booted the machines to the side. I was like, yeah, well, I did tell you. Like, I'm no paramedic, but I did warn you didn't need your machinery. And then they were like, can you leave the room? And then after that, it was a whirlwind though, because when there's a dead body, you don't realise he was there for hours and hours because they send the police, and then they send the forensics, and they call a woman, takes loads of photos, can't touch the body or move the body or go in the room because it's a crime scene.
It's a crime scene, because they've got to make sure that it is what you think it is. And you've mentioned the white powder. Like, are you able to divulge like how he actually did commit suicide? Like, what did he do?
Tablets.
Okay, so he overdosed.
Yeah. Anything he could get his hand on. Right. So there was like an array of, and so they took them as evidence. I remember them picking all like the packets and everything up and taking them away. But but they all came in. They were really nice. They came in. She was like, "Hi, I'm the forensic photographer. I'm going to be doing X, Y, and Z." And then we had two police officers take me and my mum off separately to do statements. We couldn't do them together, obviously. And then at this time, my best mate turned up, and I was outside with the paramedic having a fag, and the paramedic looked the double of my dad. It was spooky.
Really?
Yeah, bold man, about 5'9", stocky. Obviously, I just called my best mate and said my dad's committed suicide. So he's come running across the drive, just glances at me and went, "Jay," like that, and I went, "Oh no, this isn't my dad."
No way! It's that much of a resemblance that your best friend even thought, like, what you're on about.
He's like, "Jay," and I was like, "Yeah, oh, don't worry, it's sent Dad."
He thought that you'd had too much on that spliff, like,
you're hallucinating.
Surprise!
I was waiting. Oh no!
Oh God!
No, but and he came in, and the ambulance man was like, "Yeah, it's pronounced Robert Bladen dead at 4:32 a.m. or whatever." It was around that time, and and then all of a sudden, because there's a dead body, like their police manager had to come out. They're like their boss, just to confirm what they'd done was correct, confirm he agrees it's a suicide, confirm they're not going to arrest us, basically.
Yeah.
And then after that, we got to go in and say bye to the body.
How was
my
that?
dad?
How was it?
Well, my mum is Catholic, so she was saying the Lord's Prayer. She was rosemary beads, doing a Hail Marys. And then I remember when the people came to take him away. Shouldn't even be funny. When the people came to take him away, I was like, my dad was a big bloke like that. And I was like, when they came, like, and it had a bass beer belly. So when they came to take him away, I said to him, I was like, he's heavy. It's not even funny. I don't know.
I'm laughing because you're laughing.
Yeah, you're laughing.
And the people that come to take, they're in suits. And he was like, don't worry, I used to live farm cattle. I was like, oh, you'll be all right then, mate.
Oh my, no, that is the weirdest thing. Why would you say that? Just like to family members.
I was like, just look him like one of them bulls, you you'll be all right.
Oh my God.
Legging a wing him in your black van with your tinted windows.
Legging a wing him in your black van. Honestly, I understand why you like find that funny, because it's just like, what the fuck? Why would you say that?
I swear to God, I'll never forget it. But he made it, and I was smiled, and I was like, why am I smiling? My dad's just killed himself. But and then it's all right, Lee, you have to gaff.
We did.
And then, but this was after all this happened, and then obviously the days after, all family. My mum's got 7 brothers and sisters. It was like fucking B&B. They were all coming round, and it was I was just waking up every morning, and it was like fucking an all-inclusive with breakfast sandwiches. So I'd have because they were all in there. They're all like Birmingham Irish, so like oh fucking hell, top of the morning here, we're all bad. So bacon sandwiches, and I'd have a bacon sandwich and a WKD to wash it down with, and went on grievance from work. And I remember about 3 days into it, I had a call off Kev Hyo, and he was like, "I've lost rock." He said it, and the way he said it, he was like, "I've lost rock, paper, scissors to tell you this," or something. He was like trying to soften the blow, and I was like, "Oh, Kev, nothing can really top this shitter of a week I've had." And it was just coming up to Christmas, and he was like, "We've gone bust." And I was like, and he was like, "Yeah, we won't have a job to come back to. I'm so sorry, and you're not going to be getting your Christmas wages." I was like, "Damn."
What when you got told that news, then like what did you
felt
think?
Like nothing.
It felt like, I was going to say, what did it feel like? Did it feel like you were numb?
Nah, mine. Yeah, it felt minor. I was like, "All right, Kev, thanks for telling me."
Yeah, and upon reflection, like, what a shitty situation. And have you ever thought about that and thought about, God, like how has the world just given me these two really, really terrible events at the same time? Like, have you processed that since, or is it just something that you've completely just forgotten about?
I thought, it comes in threes. I better not stand on a crack because it'll break my mother's back.
Clever.
No, I just thought, well, this is a week to write off.
I mean, fair enough.
I didn't. Yeah, honestly, I just thought it can't get shitter. And to be honest, I thought it's more time off with grievance. So,
oh God,
I thought.
I mean, were you all right financially?
No,
then?
I genuinely. Yeah.
Or like, you know what I mean? You didn't have that worry like, shit, we've got no money, like, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, because all my dad's accounts got froze.
Right, okay.
Because and then you got to wait. And then, so like, if things happened after that, like my dad had, I'm going to sound all posh now, I'm going to say it like this. Mother sold father's Bentley. And so we lived off that for a bit.
No, I was going to say, did you have any idea why he did? Because obviously when you were talking before about your dad and he said he's been into these businesses, I was thinking, has he gone into debt then? Is like something happened and he's worried? Do you know what I mean?
He'd lost he'd invested his money and had none left.
Right.
That was the catalyst then, was it?
Yeah. So that it was his pride that won. So then I blame, for ages I was like, wow, the fact that he could go down a pub and say, I've got this house somewhere and this car meant more than me. Like that for ages I was like, how can money mean more than me? Like I'm a brother, I'm a mother. I don't understand.
It was just the big things, like you say, the Bentley, you know what I mean, and all these kind of things in the houses, but you were fine to live. It wasn't.
Yes, and we survived for a bit, but we did end up having to sell the family home because we were going to lose it, because he'd remortgaged it to invest some of the money into the Bahamas.
Right.
So we were gonna lose the family home as well. Okay. So Mum had to sell that for a discounted price as well, because it got to the stage where it needed work doing. She didn't have the money to get the work done. It needed revamping. Didn't have the money. Lost loads. At the time, she had to sell the houses in the Bahamas. She sold them for next to fuck all because she just wanted them gone. And
closure, isn't it, as well? It's like all this hanging over your head where, you know, it doesn't matter. You just want to kind of close that chapter. And it sounds like your dad invested and made businesses, lost them. And like you said, essentially, it was that killed him. And just before, we were talking about the fact that he had severe depression, and obviously he was trying to get treated for it. So take us back to that then. The depression obviously turned into him committing suicide, and the depression came from the financial situation, right? And you said that you had noticed and watched him trying to get help. So what was the issue there then? Doctors not listening, him not being taken seriously? Why do you think it got to a point where he had no way out to just kill himself?
The problem we got with that is he was quite private. So he would only be the one going to the doctor's appointments. Wouldn't you go with him? When I say, like, my dad had a breakdown, I say he had a mental and a nervous breakdown at the same time. Right. So when the house phone would ring, he'd immediately start crying.
Right.
Because he didn't want the pressure of who it was going to be. Right. And I couldn't get my head around it. I'd be like, and I wasn't allowed in the room when he was crying. Mum was protecting me from it. And I remember once I burst into the room when he was crying, and I was like, are you okay? What are you doing, Dad? Like, why are you crying? And he was just like, please get out, please. And he was laying in bed for days. But then that's when the day happened. He sort of got up in his pajamas and walked around the house with a gin and tonic. I was like, oh, business has resumed. But he'd obviously clearly had it in his head then what he was going to do that night.
God, that's just to think that he was knowing he was about to end his life in the conversation that he had with you saying, look after Henry. And, you know, he already, like you said, had made his mind up and how scary the brain can be that he did that and he knew he was going to do it that night. And I think that's what's so scary about suicide is that to actually do it, to actually sit there and execute it, even though it's been going around in your head, you know, you'd think there might be the one little snippet that goes, no, I can't do it. And that's what's so sad. Like you said, he was so severely depressed that he had no other way out, he felt, you know, even though he had this loving family around him. Sounds like you said, the funniest man in the room. He had a good social network around him.
Yeah.
And it's still got to the point where he was like, I can't get out of this.
Yeah, like if I don't know, it's like he took his he was too ashamed of himself that he'd lost everything that he'd built, if that makes sense. So he let his pride take over him rather than anything else. Which, yeah, again, I'll always be bitter about that part of it, and I'm not going to lie, I can't help but be bitter that he loved the thought of not having to go into a pub and say I'm skint over never seeing his family again. So I'll always be a bit bitter over that.
Yeah. And what year was this then? Just going like trying to analyse the mental health kind of thing. You know how much it's kind of.
Yeah, 2013.
2013. It wasn't long then before Zante, then was it?
Nope.
Really?
Nope. That's why Zante, I went like a loose cannon.
I was going to say that was the mask that you were wearing, right? So obviously your personality is your personality, but do you think that you amplified that and you used humour as a way of coping so people wouldn't get to know the real you?
Yeah, like I had to go for an operation on Tuesday. Kirsty knows me more than anyone else. And I was being a clown in the morning. So when I was getting ready to go to hospital, I was like, the patient is ready for the car. Like that. And just being an idiot. And she was like, oh, I can tell you're scared. You're masking it.
Right. Yeah.
So things like that. And I was like, patient needs the car warmer than this. And she was like, shut it up. So I think Zante was a 6-month mask for me.
Yeah.
Where I was a different person and I wasn't scared. I mean, breaking your legs twice in one season probably wasn't my
Yeah, I covered your units that year as well. Every time
I know.
they were
a nightmare, weren't they? So the first year as a rep.
Even worse when you got to cover your own units and yours.
I had a lovely time. So
and obviously
the second time I broke my leg, they shoved me in family life, and I was like,
oh God,
nah, this is cruel. There's children. And they had me a wheelchair, and I'll never remember, they sort of wheeled me in. And the kids rep thought it'd be really funny, because every time a kid walked past, I'd be like, and they'd be like, they thought it'd be really funny to wheel me into where all the children were and run off, shut the door and leave me. And I was just sat there with children. I was like,
what am I going to do now?
Terrified. And they just started colouring in my cast. And I was like, yeah, carry on. Like, and I had about 20 of them just coloured in my cast. And I remember Tracy came in and saw it. She's like, you'll need to get that changed. That's not uniform standard.
I can totally imagine that being said. Oh my God. And in between the seasons then, obviously, as we know, you go back and sometimes you go and do a winter season. When you walked back into England, into your sort of previous life, did it hit you like a ton of bricks at the grief? And how did that feel then to kind of do a season overseas, mask it, meet people that you hadn't met before, and then go back to the life that you kind of basically were escaping from?
I went back and I was still a loose cannon because I was so excited to be back that when I did go back, my friends started running a pub. So rather than slipping into normal life, I worked behind the bar and lived above the pub. So my wages each week was, I owe you £10. So that's like you think I'm joking.
That's what your liquidation was like. Fucking hate being behind Jay on bloody liquidation day. Like,
oh no, I'll just be like that.
Licky dipping.
Recount, Zena, recount.
Recount, and I'm pretty sure every single rep has licky dipped in the past.
Yeah.
Oh, licky dipped or licky parted. Oh, do you remember when I lost my liquidation when I went to buy some grapes? So I got my liquidation bag. I was like, la, 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 la. I just wanted some. I thought I'll have a house I'll get a bag of grapes. You know, that'll cancel out the 37 bottles of vodka this week. So I went in. bought a bag of grapes, and I mustn't have realised, but I sort of got my liquidation and went, fuck it, in the car, and carried on driving, like, blasting my tunes. Totally forgot I'd done it. I'm ditzy anyway. And then when I went to get my liquidation, I was like, where is it? And I remember I went to Vicky. I was like, hi, Vicky, how's things? And she was like, yeah, Jay, what do you want? I was like, so you know the liquidation? It's important, isn't it? Like, she was like, yeah, it's pretty vital, Jay. I was like, well, if I accidentally misplaced it. And she was like, well, you better make sure it turns up for accounts, or it will go to like a disciplinary. I was like, oh, shit. I remember I had to ring my mum and be like, hi, Mum. She had to send me €560.
Wow.
And then
Most
at the end of the
expensive
season,
grapes.
because at the end of the season, Mum, please, I'm sorry, don't hear this. I found it.
You found it.
It was in the back of the car under all my liquidation. So it was like, you know, all your papers. So my car, remember it, Lou? It was
Yeah.
like an office. It just had, so you'd have your welcome letters. It was just like, someone had got their welcome letters. Fuck it. And my car was just covered in welcome pack letters and welcome pack guides. And it was under a load of guides. And I was like cleaning out my car and I was like, turn the balloon! Turn the balloon! 57 in the balloon! Found it. Yeah.
And he never lost it in 2016 because Rob would have definitely fucking gone wild if you had.
No, I did. I
Yeah,
got
she
robbed.
would have done. Yeah.
Did you? Oh, I never
Do you know
knew
what-
about that.
Yeah, I got robbed. So remember, sorry, Kirst, bringing up an ex. Me and Danny, remember Danny Doolan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we were fast asleep and woke up. And I remember I was having a piss. I was like, Danny, pass me my bag. And she was like going, she was really ditzy, you know, and really northern, weren't she? A lovely girl. She was like, I don't know where it is. I was like, from Preston. I was like, pass me my bag. I don't know where it is. I was like, pass me my bag. And she was like, I'm running late. I'm going to be late for Capital. And I was like, pass me my bag. And then she was like, where's me bum bag? And I was like, fuck your bum bag. And I walked out and I was like, what's going on? And as I looked around, Georgie, another northerner from next door, banged on my door. Jay, why's your bag all over the road? And I was like, what you on about? And as we went down, like Danny's bum bag was across the road, all my bag. And then there was like footprints going up the wall. They climbed the wall, gone in through the balcony. We left the balcony doors open. I'll never forget, I called Rob and I was in tears. I was so upset. And then Danny was going, well, where's me moped key? I just think in the background, I was so heartless. What a bitch. I was more concerned that like my licky had gone again.
Well, being robbed is different than losing it in your car. So I think he couldn't have been mad if you'd actually been robbed. So
No. Andy Hills picked me up and was like, what are you like? And he took me to and I was
What
crying.
accent is that for Andy?
I was trying to do Geordie, but we went tits up. So he took me to McDonald's and bought me a Mackey's. And then I remember he took me to the police station. And you remember Jake? He was like, you'll need to pay Jake 50
Boy, better know
euros.
Jake.
Yeah. He was like, you'll need to pay Jake 50 euros. He'll be your translator. I was like, oh, will I? I'll just get it out me licky, will I?
Yeah, that's because Andy would have taken 25 euros of that.
Scene.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right, so going
Yeah.
back then, you was in Zante, you came back, lived above a pub, owed money. That's how we got to that story. So we were trying to get to the bottom of whether, obviously, when you come back to England, whether it kind of hit you like a ton of bricks, the grief, or whether you carried on masking it.
Masked it because I knew I was doing another season in Zante.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was just counting down the days till I was back out there. I masked it pretty much up until probably end of my Bulgaria season. And then what changed everything for me is because I met Kirst. She's everything. She's everything. She's the one person, she grounded me.
Yeah.
So I went from being a party animal to, I don't want, I can see a little egg creeping through the door now going, me?
Yeah.
Come on, Kirst, come and say hi to us.
She ain't got her eyebrows.
we could paint them on, don't worry.
Don't give me any more editing.
They'll Photoshop your eyebrows on. Joking.
No, tell us about Kirsty and how it all changed for you.
Yeah, so before I was going, like, we had a bit of an ongoing joke, me and my mates. Every time I went to a season, I'd have a leaving party because it was a reason for a party. So we were going out, went to Missing, where I bumped into Kirsty and she was absolutely clattered. And I was like, bit of me, that. And she was like sliding herself down the banisters. And we sort of knew each other anyway. We'd known each other for a few years. And like, we'll always have this argument that in Nightingales, she kissed me, but apparently I kissed her. But no, no, no. You were sliding down banisters just beforehand, hon. I grabbed your arse, yeah, but you kissed me first. But anyway, well, we'll have that scrap later. And then, yeah, and then I was like, oh, long story short, things happened that night, and she got chucked out the club for being too Rex. And I remember I was stood outside waiting for a taxi with her. And this is what made me fall for her straight away. As she got in a taxi, I was like, right then, what's your address? She went, am I meant to know? And I was like, are you taking the piss? And the taxi man chucked her out. So then Muller, the bouncer, knew Kirst. And she was like, oh, she's not being an idiot. She's just moved out. So I was like, oh! So he rang her housemate and then he didn't get in a taxi. Anyway, when I went away to Bulgaria, I passed as a comment, hoping she'd take me up on it. Come out and see me in Bulgaria when you're on a break from uni, because she was doing a mental health nursing course. Lo and behold, she flew out, spent a week with me, and here we are nearly 8 years later.
Oh, I love that. And fitting that she did mental health, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, did anyone
Yeah.
ever question it? Because I look back and we've all got our little traumas and things like that that's happened in our life. And I think everyone has them, never mind every rep. I mean, did anyone ever question it, or was it just seen as rep life? Do you know what I mean?
Rep life.
Yeah. Because I found when I
Yeah.
came back, I was still, it felt odd that if you weren't, like, I remember I got with my partner, it was like, right, Friday, get the vodkas in. It's like, you don't have to drink like this every time you drink. And it's like, and you just sat watching telly and you go for a whole litre of a bottle of vodka, and it's just that.
You need to watch this. You understand.
I miss that from overseas though. Like, obviously I'm not really like a in-house drinker unless I've got people around and we're having a get together. Me and Rob are very much like, we go out, but we still drink like we did back then. We go on day sessions. It's our favourite thing to do. Even he's bloody turned 40 now. We still, when we get the chance, obviously quite limited now with Phoebes, but we love going on day sessions. And that reminds me of overseas life, like where you can just start in the day and it feels like it's going to go on for infinity. Like rather than going out at like 8 p.m. at night and being home at like 12. And when I got back from overseas, like I found it really hard to like get people to come out for like 12 hours of me. Do you know what I mean? I'd be like, come on, let's just go out all day. And they'd be like, no thanks. Like, and I needed to be back with my people to like have that same camaraderie and be like, yes, we're going to go to like 5 or 6 different bars. Like when we went with Head Bob and Kittens loose to Liverpool, and we was out at like midday, and we were out until maybe like 3, 4 the next morning. And it's just the rep circle. Well, one, we're fucking resilient and we've got like livers like iron. But it's that like feeling of it, isn't it? So like I just miss it. I miss that sometimes, you know?
Oh, all the time. One of my favourite memories, again, with you, Rob and Lucy, is when we all lay on the floor at Life's a Beach chasing cars.
Yeah.
Oh, what memories, man.
I know.
But yeah, like they were my happy places. Zante will always be my happy place. And it's, I don't know, some of the best memories of my entire life were out in that place, even though at the time I was a loose cannon. And I was, I look back and I just want to apologise to all of my guests. And also, I went through a stage of getting pissed and telling anyone who would listen to the story of my dad dying, and I feel guilty. So sorry for everybody who I've ever made listen when I've had 7 juices going, by the way, my dad committed suicide.
But that was always therapy to you. That was a version of therapy that you didn't realise that you were doing. But actually, even though, you know, you've credited Kirsty for getting you through, those little moments that you were sharing with people, that was your grief coming out. That was your chance to sort of say it out loud rather than bottling it up. So it sounds mad, but actually those little snippets probably really did help you as well without you even knowing it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised I didn't do a transfer speech going, hello, everyone, I'd like to welcome you into the lovely Zakynthos. As we make our way down into like, it'll take around 30 minutes. I just want to let you all know my dad killed himself. So I don't know how I didn't do that.
You know what? I don't. But when did you realise that version of you? Like I was saying, you're still you no matter what when you're sober. Obviously, you were using the alcohol to talk, weren't you? Like they always say,
Yeah.
an honest heart or whatever. You
It's a
always speak the
drunk heart.
truth. Yeah, whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like you speak the truth when you've had a
Yeah.
drink, and that's what makes
Yeah.
people open.
Yeah.
But when did you actually realise the wildness going out every night was actually hiding a lot of pain and what you were masking?
Uh, when I got back, I was still a bit wild when I first got with Kirst, and it took her. She says it took a while to tame you. I remember we went to my 30th in Dublin, got back from Dublin, and I was like, I'm not finished yet, I'm going to the pub. And so a group of us had gone out, and everyone was like absolutely dead. But I decided to take myself. And it was just before my 30th meal. I remember like a couple of days before, I was like, oh, well, I'm going to take myself. This is when I was still a loose cannon. I think this is when I realised when I woke up the next morning. I walked from the pub hammered, ringing Kirst, going, I don't know what, gibberish. And she found me in the door of Pizza Hut asleep anyway. And carried me home. And I woke up the next morning and I was like, ow! Why can't I open my eye? I had a huge black eye. She was like, oh yeah, you headbutted the bath. I was like, ow! And all my 30th birthday photos of me with a massive shiner, like, wouldn't have it any other way. But then it was sort of, I think that's when Kirst was like, I don't know, she did give me pep talk. And she was like, come on now, let's save up, let's get. And then I proposed to her. She was like, oh, I know you're looking at me. And so I was like, so let's save up now. It's things like that. So I don't know, she grew me up.
And how did that change in lifestyle happen then? And did it take you a while to kind of move away from that kind of party lifestyle and actually settle down with Kirsty? Did you have therapy? Did she help you because of her training? How did you move through that and navigate it when you were probably trying to like so hard not go back to that party lifestyle?
So I went to help with I didn't want to say this bit. I tried to kill myself when after a pit. My mum knows. I took a overdose, which I'm not proud of. And rang Kirsty to say bye and my best friend to say bye. And when he got here, they'd called an ambulance and I got rushed into resus. I was in resus for several hours trying to bring me round. And then, oh God, I hope my aunties don't watch this. I just remember projectile vomiting into the nurse's face. Something they must have given me, must have brought everything out. And I ended up in hospital for a few days. And I remember these women came in suits and they were like, hi, Miss Blader, can we take you for a chat? And they took me into like a mental health room. And this is where I thought I've got to stop being a clown all the time because they'd sat me down. They were like, be careful of the walls. They're alarmed because obviously it's mental health patients. So I kept going, what? They didn't find me funny at all. I was like, I need to stop doing that then. And they had a serious conversation with me because I didn't realise they were planning on sectioning me.
Wow.
But I was like, I won't do it again. I won't do it again. I won't do it again. And they were happy with that. And then that was a huge kick up my arse because I'd let everyone down and I hadn't told my mum. I only told my mum about a year ago.
Wow.
How was that conversation? How did it go?
Not well. I felt like a knife had gone through my heart. I felt like I'd let her down, especially with everything she's going through because obviously she's got terminal cancer. But it just came out. I just thought I don't know why I told her, to be honest, but I did. Because I don't hide anything from my mum. I don't hide anything from my mum. My mum knows everything about me, literally, physically, everything. So, and she's my best friend. She's the best woman I've ever met in my life.
You speak so highly of her, like on social media and things like that. And I think with what you've just said about her having terminal cancer, you must have wanted just to give everything to her, you know, and you must have felt that you needed to have that conversation. And has that changed your relationship since? Has it made you stronger or?
I'm closer now to my mum and I didn't think we could get any closer than I ever have been. She's my best mate. So she comes around every night for dinner. Every night. And takes me to work. And then, she's just amazing. She's brilliant. I mean, I'm a lazy cow, I drive, but she's like, do you want to lift to work? I'm like, yeah. And I just like it. I like being in the car with her and talking to her on the way there. And
we're so sorry to hear that obviously you felt that route was the way out for you. And obviously we're so glad that you're here now and you decided that was the absolute moment that you were going to change your life and obviously only for the better, right? Like what's the last few years been like? How is your life now and how are you dealing with grief? And are you in a stage where you obviously don't get over grief ever, but are you in a stage where you manage it now? You know, talk us about that.
Completely. I'm in a job now where I've not long been promoted. So I've been there for coming up to 2.5 years. And it's like I've gone from working in the sun to working in -27.
Oh God.
I work in a freezer, but I love it and I wouldn't change it. And I love my job and I love the people I work with. And I've not long been made up something called a step up to team leader. So it's just, I don't know. I threw myself into work. I don't really go out anymore. I'm just happy coming in, getting a takeaway with Kirst. Like, Kirst did a proper mum thing tonight, though. I was like, should we get a Domino's? Anyway, she popped out. She come back straight. Got pizza from Aldi.
Saved us 30 quid. Oh.
Don't worry, it's the ham and mascarpone one you like.
Oh God. And obviously you have said something to us before along the lines of, even when things feel unbearable, someone or something will happen. Do you truly believe that now?
Yeah, Kirsty happened to me. And my mum going through what she's been through, when a woman you can watch go through the treatment and everything she's been through and then go through what cancer's thrown at her and still be the same person she was, still nipping round Morrison's with one lung. Do you know what I mean? She's just mint. And then I think, God, I was so selfish the way I decided getting pissed and being a party animal and breaking my leg twice. Well, my mum was sat at home. She must have been just worried constantly. So all I did was make her worry. So now it's my turn to look after her, which is why I do a dinner every night. I always make sure she's okay. She's just, yeah. When you see someone go through what she has and she can still be the strongest person I've ever met, like, there's no excuse. And then you've got Kirsty as well. She turned my life around and I'll forever be in her debt. So no matter how bad it gets, and no matter how you think I'm just going to get pissed forever, or nothing's going to change, or the reoccurring thoughts of the night, something will happen and it will just be like a light switch and it will change everything, and it will happen suddenly. So if you're going through anything like this, or even your dark place, there is light at the end of it. I promise you. I promise you that.
And what do you think Kirsty saw in you that you didn't see in yourself for that change? I mean, you just obviously
Sex god.
always comes out of it. But I mean, you were like, you've obviously got with Kirsty, and like, obviously, you were obviously going for a good place, and then but you to hit rock bottom again, and then what she saw in you, what brought you back round? I mean,
she knows the real me. She knows the real me without the mask. Like, and I don't really wear a mask anymore because of her. So she knew the real me. She knew there was more to me than met the eye.
Yeah. And she's helped you accept that, right?
Yeah, she's the apple of my eye, and she's made me everything I am today.
When is the wedding anyway?
I know we need to get planning it because we keep getting obstacles like mum's cancer. No, I didn't mean it like that. You know my humour. Humour. But just it's me. I like booking holidays and things like that. We just say for a wedding. I was like, absolutely. However, there is the Miami and Bahamas cruise coming up. Let's book it. So we have. Do you know what I mean? Just things like that.
Do you know what though? Live your life though. Do you know what I mean? It took Hannah 15 years.
I will marry her one day.
It took Hannah 15 years and Rob.
Exactly. And I will say from someone who
will do it in 14. I promise.
And I will say from someone who is 2 weeks away from the wedding, it is fucking stressful, and try and avoid planning for the rest of your life. So don't fucking do it. Oh God.
Hannah's told me I can't marry you, so she's getting married in 2 weeks, and it's the most stressful moment of her life. Bet you can't wait for me to be bridezilla.
Oh God.
Honestly, and like, you know what Rob's like? Obviously, I love that he's so involved, because I would never have wanted to get to my wedding and then my husband to be is like, don't know what's going on. My wife did it all. That's not me. I love that Rob's involved, but equally, obviously, if he's busy one night and I want to get on with some wedmin, he's like, I can't do it tonight, and I'm like, fucking hell, the time is ticking. So it is super stressful, but. Yeah, I think that when you and Kirsty get round to planning it, and obviously, that stress is real, but also a joke. Everyone keeps telling me it's going to be the best day of my life, and I want it for you and Kirsty as well. So when you start booking cruises, I can't wait to hear all about the planning and what you're going to do. And I think it's going to be the most immense wedding. I'm not fishing for an invite, I promise. I'm just saying I do think it's going to be the most...
I am.
You got an invite to the engagement part. I think you'll be getting an invite to the wedding. If you've got a spare seat and you've got a +1 for Lucy, then I'm happily attending.
I'll be your dresser, as we went on before the episode when Jade used to try and wear her airport uniform and turn up with a Nicky round her head and a shirt all buttoned up the wrong way and had to dress her before she got on the coach before.
Oh, God.
One shoe on, shoe in hand. Like, Jay, come on!
Well, as we are nearing the end of our episode, and I think you've been so brave and vulnerable opening up, and we're so glad that you've chosen us to talk to. And I think you mentioned before that if someone is struggling, then, you know, there is light at the end of the tunnel. So thank you so much for sharing that. And before we do end, we are asking, obviously, all of our guests this question. And it's really important to us to find out who Jay is becoming now.
Now I'm just focusing. I want Kirsty's excelling in her career, so that's what I want to do. So I'm just trying to progress in the company that I'm working with, settle down, get married, get a dog. We live in an apartment, so she said in the background straight away, "Oh no, babe, I'm getting to it. House, house." Get a house. So yeah, it's all about. I'm just in my settling down here and now.
Amazing.
And is there any, because obviously we do try and promote like help if people are listening, you'd be surprised how many people are listening. Is there any charities that you know of that might have helped you, or obviously Kirsty working in mental health, that you point people in directions for a voice really?
Yeah, there's one called Mind.
Yeah.
That's what MIND. So that's one to always look at. I refused to admit I had a problem for a long time, so I didn't really seek much help. It was literally Kirsty that changed me, but there is help out there, and do seek it until you get to the stage where you do something stupid like I did. Just speak out, like, don't be a pussy. Like, as hard as it is to say, I was a pussy.
Yeah.
And I was a coward, and I was a wimp, and I let my thoughts get on top of me. And be stronger. Don't be that person. Be brave. Be you.
One question I do have, and we can edit this out, but I feel like I know it's been on the tip of my tongue, because obviously your dad obviously overdosed as well, didn't he? And the fact that you chose that option as well, like, that's really...
Keep it in the family. Like...
Oh, God, Jay. Was that a way that you just... Was there just no thought process? Do you know what I mean? It was just
no thought process
like,
at all.
That's what I'm going for. This is the easy way.
And that's how I think he did it. Was like, this is the easiest way and the fastest way to do it. So
yeah,
that's. I'm not very good at knots. So
my
For
God,
fuck's sake.
I'm sorry.
Well, on that note, obviously your story does remind us that grief doesn't follow any rules, and the lightheartedness that you've brought to this episode just showcases who you are as a person. So I think that whatever way you cope with any trauma, for anyone that's listening, it is, like you said, Jay, speaking up. It's not burying it, because the stupid thing that you managed to get out of might not be for someone else. So we just need to make sure that that support is there, available, and everyone has an opportunity to speak up, for sure.
No.
Yeah.
Like I say, thank you for trusting us with your story.
Yeah.
It's been nice to catch
First
up.
people I've opened up to like this. I never do it for anyone else. Only my girls.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and hopefully, like I say, if anyone needs any help and they're on that kind of bit of an edge or whatever, they can
do it. Get the help. Don't do what I did. Don't be a coward.
Amazing.
Do it. Be brave. Be stronger than I was.
Be brave. Well, I like that. And I think maybe brave is going to feature in the episode title at some point, I think, because I think it's a great word. And I think you've summed it up completely. So I think that is it from us. If you've enjoyed this episode, then please go back and listen to our other ones, like, subscribe, all that jazz. And you can find it on all the podcast platforms.
And that's it, really.
And my only fans is J69. I'm only joking.
That's how she's paying for the wedding.
Yeah.
Well, she won't turn up on time for one, and she'll have a camera the wrong way round.
Yeah, we'll share some behind the scenes content of Jay messing with her headphones 10 minutes late.
All tangled up round the bloody head. Are you on your way yet? Yeah, I'm just setting it up.
Honestly, no. Thank you so much. It's been fantastic catching up with you again after all these years. Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Oh, you beat me. Goodbye from me.
Yeah, there you go. Say the best till last, won't we? But and that's it, guys. There we are. Right, toodles. Bye.